fans, welcome back to Room 237 as I continue my marathon of Italian horror and Giallo films. But before I get to the Giallo review, if you've been following this marathon, you know I have a huge wish list that I've been tackling. And every so many videos, I just do a little update of what I collected since the last time, just so you guys can kind of know what to expect. So for Giallo films, actually first, for Italian horror, non-Giallo, I was finally able to pick up the Blue Underground release of Lucio Fulci's Manhattan Baby, which has Bob in it, so I'll definitely be getting to that. And then for Giallo films, from Raro Video, which there's going to be several from them that I'll be getting. There's The Perfume of the Lady in Black, which I've heard nothing but good things about, so very excited to get to that. This I actually found on Blu-ray. I had ordered a bootleg, but then I saw there was this Blu-ray, so I was like, definitely getting that. And that's Naked Girl Murdered in the Park, which that title and cover reminds me of House on the Edge of the Park. Then this Giallo is actually going to be my next review. That is Puzzle from 1974. Also heard good things about that. And then these are actually Spanish films, but I'll probably still be doing these along with Italian because I've already done a couple. But there's Jess Franco's Devil Hunter. This is through Severin, another cannibal film. And then this just came out. It's another Severin release, but that is Cannibal Man, which I've wanted to see for a while. So I'll get to those two at some point. But also this film. This is another one that I picked up along with those, and I might have fun with this one. Now, I'm going to say the title is Death Carries a Cane from 1973, but the cover says Tormentor. The opening credits say Tormentor. It was released on VHS as Tormentor, and that is one of the many alternate titles. But the original title, and what most people know it as, is Death Carries a Cane. It was also released under the title Maniac at Large, The Night of Rolling Heads, and actually the original Italian title translated to Dance Steps on the Edge of a Razor, which I actually like that title too. But I'm going to go with Death Carries a Cane. Even that cover and this title gives it more of a slasher feel. I think it was also... This might have been another one released under Trauma. I could be wrong on that. But I do know that Full Moon Grindhouse also has a release of a movie called Trauma. Which, this is the only Full Moon Grindhouse film I have. Normally, I don't complain about quality. This is a straight-up VHS rip, which I'm fine with. It does add a lot of character. But the aspect ratio, the 4:3, it doesn't work. You can tell it needs to be full screen. If there's a scene with two people having a conversation at a desk, they're both cut off. It's kind of distracting. But, so yeah, it's directed by Maurizio Prado and stars Robert Hoffman, Susan Scott, and George Martin. But also Simon Andrew, so it has Susan Scott and Simon Andrew, similar to my last review, which was Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion. And this Giallo is straight up... I've said this before about some of the other Giallo reviews. This is following the early Argento formula, but doesn't know what makes Argento work. Someone witnesses a murder in the act, but can't make out who the killer is, gets involved, tries to solve it. There's a bunch of sleaze, nudity, and sex. There's some good kills, a good amount of blood. The editing is not that good. I feel like it's a cut version. I mean, this one runs 90 minutes. Apparently, originally it was 91 minutes. So yeah, I feel like some of the kills were cut. Could be wrong. It's not. This is a Giallo that is not very original at all. Doesn't really have anything new to offer whatsoever. We've seen everything in this before. A lot of the plot points are either really laughable or feel rushed. The acting is over the top, but it has bad writing to accompany it. So it's not like bad acting in a way that's so bad it's good. It has the bad writing behind it that just make you go, what the hell am I watching? For example, so Susan Scott plays this, I thought she was a reporter, but she also makes mannequins for her boyfriend or her boyfriend Alberto, played by Robert Hoffman. But she's using one of those coin-operated telescopes. That's when she witnesses a murder. She tries to get people to help her, but no one believes her. One of which is a street cop who, his two reasons for why he can't help her is so, like, they really wanted to make sure no one could help this woman with what she needs help with. Because his reasoning was, I'm sorry, lady, I can't help you. My wife, you see, she wouldn't understand. And then he says, it's my day off. But he starts it with, my wife would, yeah. He can't rescue a woman being saved. You know, he can't rescue a woman that's being murdered because his wife might get jealous. There's a lot of plot points like that are just fucking laughable. There's several scenes where a character will stop whatever they're doing to go to the bathroom. She either gets a phone call or sees in the newspaper that the body of the murdered girl that she tried to get help for is found. She excitably exclaims, "Oh, good, they found my body." And so, of course, the whole movie points to Alberto. The only distinct clue that she can give law enforcement is that the killer had a limp. It was using a cane. Hence the title, Death Carries a Cane, which I like that title better anyway. And yes, dancing and music also plays into the plot. But so Inspector, I can't remember how they pronounced it, but Marugi, played by George Martin, he is so hell-bent on it being Alberto. And also, Susan Scott plays a woman named Kitty. But I've seen in several places, like even this says Ketty with an E. Alright. But, because Alberto, he was 10 minutes late for picking up Kitty from where she was where the murder occurred. He somehow sprained his ankle and had a limp. He's some sort of performance artist, and he's setting up this exhibition where there's mannequins who look like dead bodies. He's even walked in on from Kitty and the inspector while he's stabbing a mannequin, and he says it's for an art project. So of course everything looks towards him, but also Simon Andrew, who plays his musical composer friend, somehow appears to be impotent. He can't have sex with his girlfriend, who is played by Anushka Borova, who plays twins Lydia and Sylvia. And this movie tries to set up the red herrings of good twin, bad twin, and it literally goes nowhere. And even though they try to separate the twins by... Lydia, I think it's Lydia, normally has her hair up and glasses. A lot of the scenes, she's not wearing them and her hair is down, so she looks just like the other twin. So they don't really do anything with that. And the major formula that this really follows is the whole witness or someone who can give information to the people trying to solve the murder ends up being killed. For example, the next person to die is this peanut vendor who the police don't really have any kind of, they don't count him as a witness, but somehow the killer does. He gets his throat slit in his house. He's the second one to get killed. And I'll say it's a decent effect. I mean, of course, the black glove killer uses a straight razor. We do see the killer cut through a piece of paper with a straight razor, see how sharp it is. And yeah, we don't see a lot of blood coming out at first, but we see it spray after. But with this low quality, low budget quality, it gives it that grindhouse look that I love so much. And yes, a lot of scenes do have that thick, painty, vibrant red blood. Even when one of Marco's dancers gets killed, she gets smothered with a pillow and then cuts through the blanket, which we get the sound of the gurgly, watery sound. That means blood, but also the tearing sound, which it sounds more like fabric getting ripped than it does being cut. Also, there's this other woman who is going to charge Alberto. This cleaning lady is going to charge Alberto a bunch of money to, I know who the killer is, but if you want me to tell you, you got to get this much money. She gets killed in her house, which there is some stylish camera work. I mean, the POV, it zooms right in on her face and it kind of twists and turns. And then I believe she's the one that we get a POV after she dies, which the camera's kind of slanted after she dies, which I thought that was kind of cool, especially in her somewhat dilapidated house, again with the low budget quality and like the VHS look of it. The grain really helps give this movie character. That along with the music, which the music was done by Roberto Pregadio, if I pronounce that correctly. It has some great music, whether it be the piece that Marco plays on his piano, or it's the main theme that keeps occurring. Great music. I thought it really fit. It was very catchy. So that, along with this VHS quality, this sort of 70s cheap drive-in grit and grain that this movie has, really helps give this movie charm and character that it desperately needs, because the acting and the writing is just not there. Now, I will say, this Giallo was the earliest I kind of had my suspicion. I had my eye on someone for the killer, and it stayed with me throughout the film. I was correct, but I guess for the wrong reasons. I still don't really understand the motive for the killer in this, but I was correct. And I picked it out within the first... Not to sound like those jackasses that say, call that a twist. I knew it immediately. As soon as I got my change back from the cashier, I knew who the killer was. No, I had my suspicions, and then I was like, alright, I'm pretty convinced it's this guy. And then they revealed it. But the motive, I was wrong about. Because if you've seen enough Giallo films, you know it's a character they show you early on and kind of sporadically. But this movie doesn't really show... It doesn't really give us any scenes that will kind of make us second guess ourselves. It only shows this killer, or it only shows the killer as a character. Like, there's no scenes that kind of make you doubt, or, you know, he's always in this one particular area. Not really around the killings. You know, it kind of makes it obvious, and it sets up a motive that I went with very early on. So with that, I guess I'll get into spoilers, but I mean, for fans of So Bad It's Good, or just fans of Giallo in general, I think this is the only way that you can get it. So people who must have top of the line Blu-ray, they're going to be disappointed. I'm sorry, you're going to have to deal with poor full screen that cuts shit off, that isn't the most high definition. Part of me actually kind of makes that glad, because I know there's quality Nazis out there that need ultra 5K, 1080p, triple layer, need everything VHS quality, which I love. And I think this is the only way you can get it. I don't even think Shameless has a DVD of Death Carries a Cane. I could be wrong, but even so, I think it's the same quality as this. But so if you're a fan of Giallo or So Bad It's Good, you may find something to enjoy. But as a film itself, it offers nothing new. It definitely has inspiration from Argento. Like someone witnessing a murder and then trying to solve it. In this case, it being Kitty and her boyfriend Alberto. But yeah, there's nothing new or original or any... Really just the music and the title are really the only things that are original about it. But yeah, this might be a rant. I'm not sure. I mean, it goes at a good pace, and I mean, it really goes at sex scene that's there just to exist as a sex scene, murder, then exposition about the murder. Back to gratuitous, sleazy sex scene, murder, exposition about the murder and the case. And yeah, I mean, 90 minutes, it doesn't really drag at all, but yeah, definitely not one of the best Giallo. I might even put this in my top 10 worst. But with that, spoilers. So the very second scene of the film, essentially, you know, one of the first scenes is Marco with his girlfriend. And even this scene is laughable, because, I mean, they're both completely naked, they're kissing, it's erotic, and then he just sits back and goes, I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. I've even seen a doctor. He just told me it happens. That's how we find out he's impotent. Again, Marco's played by Simon Andrew. the the blackmailer in Forbidden Photos. There are, so that's what I thought it was going to be with, because they even call this killer, the media calls this killer sex maniac, which a lot of Giallo does. So I thought, okay, he's going to kill because he's impotent. I thought it was going to be something along those lines. There is a scene where, he looks blissful as he plays his piece while he has this ballerina dancing with glitter tits. She's the one that's killed via smothering, then sliced under the blanket or over the blanket. And then there's a scene where he's playing the piece that she was dancing to. Again, I like that piece of music. As he's looking at the newspaper article of her death, of her murder. But he looks over at his girlfriend Lydia, and they kind of had this embracing look, and then they have a sex scene. There's also a lesbian sex scene that flashbacks from, I think, 2 different characters. But, and the only time we see Marco is either in a sex scene or when he's playing music. So I thought, okay, it's got to be him. It's got to be something to do with his impotence or something to do with women because he's impotent, or his impotence has to be a reason. I will say the whole third act in the greenhouse is well shot. You do have silly moments like when Kitty is looking through evidence and then it's like, oh, I really have to go to the bathroom again. And they're like, oh, come on now. It's over there. And then you get her fabulous... she is a good actress. She did a good job in Forbidden Photos. But she's looking at this photo where... And there's some other character. I don't even remember. I think she's a reporter. She does get followed and nearly attacked by the killer. She's there with Alberto and Kitty. But she's looking at this photograph and she says something like, no, it can't be. It's impossible. Because, or, unless, or but. And then we see the killer flip a switch and lights go out. So yeah, you have that moment where very cheesy acting, but I chalk it up to the writing. I think it's more so a writing issue. Because this was written by, Alfonso Balcazar, Arpad Doriso, George Martin, and the director. The director did go on to do at least one more Giallo called Death Steps in the Dark. I don't have that. I don't even think I can get it. I haven't seen anywhere. But, so the killer attacks Kitty. There's a chase. She knows it's him, apparently, but she can't tell anyone. And then Alberto and the other girl can't get to her. But then just as the killer is killing Kitty, the inspector comes in, shoots him, reveals that it's Marco. Alberto obviously didn't know it was Marco, but then Lydia comes in, this time hair up and glasses, and she reveals that she didn't know the entire time, but for a period she did know. And then as she starts explaining, we get flashbacks during her exposition, and it ends with, I think, her and Alberto walking around outside. So, I'm still kind of hazy on the motive here. It's kind of convoluted, but I think he lied about his impotence to her. He was a perfectionist. He had this fear of failure. And you know, the reason why he feigned impotence was because if he had sex with her, he would have to kill her. Because sex got in the way of his music or whatever. But he had to kill the dancer. So pretty much what I got from it was he was a psychotic perfectionist. It is kind of weird pretty much seeing Simon Andrew being, even though he's the killer, essentially a good guy or a sympathetic character throughout until that point. But the only thing I can give this movie is the music. I will say some of the cinematography and the way it's shot is decent. You know, the way the greenhouse third act is shot, you know, that was done well. The way some of the kills were done, you know, like the peanut vendor, it's right up close on his throat. And we see, you know, it looks like it cuts deep. The kills were done well. The POV shots, some of it was zoomed way in. Like when the killer takes his straight razor out for the first time. It's zoomed in so much that if that's a POV, he's got to be looking at it like this. But some of the weird, crazy, like, turning shots, like when the one lady who was going to get money from Alberto for information, when she's killed, and her POV when she's all slanted over. It does have some stylish moments I can give credit to. Does have some good kills. But as a whole, it's just unoriginal. You can definitely tell what it's inspired by, but it doesn't know what made those films work. And yeah, definitely not one of the best. It might be a contender for my top 10 worst Giallo. But also the pacing wasn't bad, so I forgive it for that. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to talk about. So that is Tormentor, a.k.a. Maniac at Large, a.k.a. Night of the Rolling Heads, a.k.a. the original title, Dance Steps on the Edge of a Razor, or its original release and my favorite title of it, and what it's most known as, Death Carries a Cane, 1973. Stay tuned for more Italian horror and Giallo films as I continue this marathon. A couple Spanish thrown in there, just because I've already done a couple, because I wasn't paying attention. And yeah, hope you're enjoying the marathon. Hope you enjoyed this. I guess it was a rant. I don't really, you know, so there will be a couple rants on this playlist. But anyway, I hope you continue watching, and I thank you for watching this one.